What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another comparison. Now, there's two quick announcements. One, I'm going to be dropping so many comparisons of the XS Max, the Google Pixel 3 XL, and so many other iPhones this week and possibly next week, getting prepared for the Galaxy Note 10 release. So by the end of this week, you will literally feel like you own every single one of the devices that I'm comparing, okay? Now, that's the first thing. The second thing, if you're going to comment anything, I want you to address me not as Simple Alpaca anymore, but as Lord Alpaca, alright? Just kidding, that's totally off the top. I don't even know where I come up with that. But we're going to be looking at the iPhone XS Max and comparing it to the Google Pixel 3 XL. Now, I'm not doing the comparison like in hand where I'm doing it like where I'm talking the same time I'm filming. I'd rather do it this way, but I did bring a speed comparison in this as well. So you're going to be able to take a look at both sides, look at everything, and you're going to get a full in-depth understanding of whether you should pick up an iPhone XS Max or pay for a Google Pixel 3 XL. Now, looking at the front, we have a 6.5-inch OLED display on the iPhone XS Max, or we have a 6.3-inch Super AMOLED display on the Pixel 3 XL. Now, what I will tell you is when I'm looking at both panels, I might give the edge to the Pixel 3 XL in terms of the way it looks. The resolution is a little bit higher and you also have a little bit higher pixel density on the screen as well. But one thing I will say about the iPhone XS Max is that the screen definitely still feels very, very good. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like the glass on the iPhone XS Max makes the phone feel that much more premium than the Pixel 3 XL. You know, I'm not trying to say the Pixel 3 XL has a bad display or it doesn't feel good. But compared to the XS Max's screen on the front, I feel like it just feels more premium. And that kind of also goes in hand with the build quality of both of these phones. You know, one thing I will definitely say is that the iPhone XS Max feels way more premium than the Google Pixel 3 XL. And it's kind of weird because the Pixel 3 XL has a better screen and this and that kind of, but the XS Max feels like a way more better of a phone in terms of the way it feels. You don't have glass on the back on the Pixel 3 XL, but you do have it on the XS Max. My specific one has that skin over it, which you guys can see. But I feel like the overall feeling of the phone feels way more premium on the XS Max as well. And I feel like the iPhone 10 feels more premium than the Google Pixel 3 XL. And I even feel like the iPhone 8 Plus feels more premium than the Pixel 3 XL just because of the way the phone was built. I feel like with the Pixel 3 XL, they could have done a way better job putting glass on the full back. I know some people like it. I know some people don't. Me personally, I don't really like glass on the back, to be honest. But if all the phones are having it nowadays, you might as well throw it on the Pixel 3 XL. We will get used to it, just like the lack in headphone jack and all that good stuff. So in terms of the build quality, in my opinion, I do feel like the Pixel 3 XL just kind of lacks in that department. But again, if you throw a case on it or something, I think you'll be set. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest. Now, since we're still talking about the build quality on both of these phones, I want to kind of hit on the screens and more so of the notches up top. So both of these phones still have notches. Nothing has changed from then. But with the Pixel 3 XL, I remember when it was released, it was literally like trending everywhere about how ugly that notch was. And this is actually the first time I was able to get the Pixel 3 XL. Well, I got it like a couple days ago, but what I can tell you is that notch, you know, once you see it for the first time, you're like, this is the dumbest thing they ever did. I don't know why they ever did it. But once you actually start using it, it kind of goes away, you know, it's like not that big of a deal. Like it's still kind of weird and you question why the heck they did it in the first place. But after using it, like I said, you get kind of used to it. You kind of forget it's there kind of a little bit. Like I said, it's still there. Whereas on the iPhone XS Max, I think we're all kind of used to the notch design. So if you're comparing one notch to the other, I will definitely say the Pixel 3 XL is noticeably weirder. But I don't think it should be like a deterrent of why you didn't pick up a Pixel 3 XL, in my opinion. And that's one of the biggest things I wanted to hit on was in terms of the body, because when you're comparing these things in the store, let's say you go to Best Buy or something and you're comparing them, that's one of the main things, and that's kind of how I would synopsize the differences between them in terms of the way they look on the outside. Now, talking about software, this is also where they're almost kind of similar. The Google Pixel 3 XL is a phone straight up by Google, and it's going to get software updates. It's like the first in line for every single one. I've owned every single Google Pixel phone, I've owned every single Google Nexus phone, and I love that line so much. That's one of the biggest and one of my favorite lines of phones ever. But at the same time, I've owned every single iPhone as well, and what I can tell you is the software support on the iPhones is literally the best software support in my opinion. I think of any manufacturer of any phone ever made, and that's probably kind of like a broad statement, I know, but from my experience, I love the software support on the iPhone line, on that Apple just supports their phones for so long. And if you get an iPhone, let's say the XS Max, let's say 6 years down the line, there's a humongous security bug or something, Apple would potentially go and push an update for it, and that's amazing. They recently did that for the iPhone 4S and iPhone 5, and that goes to show how, you know, Apple kind of focuses in on the software So in terms of both of them, on stock, the iPhone XS Max would technically last you longer in terms of software, but what I will definitely tell you is that the Pixel 3 XL also has a community behind it where you can root it, you can custom ROM it, and as long as there's third-party developers for that specific device, then it could honestly last forever too. So in terms of that, I will give the edge to the XS Max on stock software support from the manufacturer, but the Pixel 3 XL will always kind of still have a community behind it in my opinion. Now, in terms of the specifications of the phones, I already did a speed test, so I'm going to show you guys that in a second, but let me run through the specs of both of these phones, which are honestly the least important things, but I have to say because people get mad when I don't. The Pixel 3 XL has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 640 GPU, and 4 gigs of RAM, where the iPhone XS Max has the Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM as well. So let's go ahead and see how both of these phones compare with the specifications on both of them. Alright everyone, a little comparison between both these devices in terms of the speed. Now as you know, I already set the specifications of both of them, and you can see all the apps are cleared out in the background. So we're going to go ahead and see which one is the faster one. I honestly don't even know which one is. But let's just go into it. Let's load up Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. And the Pixel 3 XL is actually noticeably faster so far than the iPhone XS Max. Let's do Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And you will be able to see that the Pixel 3 XL again is the faster one. Okay, let's keep this going. Let's do thank you. 3, 2, 1. And I noticed that the Pixel 3 XL does a really good job at just going like loading the game instantaneously. And again, the Pixel 3 XL won this one again. In terms of gameplay though, I will say they will be almost identical, so there's not a big difference there. Let's do Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And again, you can see almost instantaneous. It gets into that little voodoo screen as well. And this game really isn't too intensive, but it is kind of important to kind of showcase what these two kind of bring. One important thing is that even though this is an intensive game, I have seen it glitch up quite a bit on a lot of my devices. Now, I'm looking at one at a time, so I won't be able to actually tell you which one is the faster one, but you can kind of tell over the camera which one is stuttering more than the other one. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. And actually the XS Max opened that one up faster, which I'm kind of confused about. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And again, the Google Pixel 3 XL won that one. I'm sorry guys, I'm stuttering again. Stack. 3, 2, 1. And I actually saw the XS Max load up that screen earlier, but we got an ad on the Android version where we usually get the ad, okay, a little bit after. So you tell me, man, which one opened up faster there? Paper IO 2. 3, 2, 1. And again, the XS Max kind of did a weird thing where it loaded that screen up first, and it actually loaded the game up first too. Let's actually get into the game, and by looking at both of them, it almost seems like the XS Max is just a little bit smoother in the gameplay. I don't know whether that's like a specific iOS thing versus like an Android thing, whether a Paper IO 2, the developers didn't really optimize it for it. But that is one thing that I'm seeing. Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And this one is going to be a close one, boys. No, the Pixel... Oh, actually, I don't know. And I'm going to say the Pixel 3 XL won that one. In terms of the gameplay itself, oh, this one is still loading. This is not that intensive of a game, but you guys will be able to tell like it's almost the same exact gameplay on both of them. Now let's go ahead and do some RAM management between them. Let's go and load up the first app. They both have the same amount of RAM, which is interesting. So let's do Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. And actually with the Google Pixel 3 XL, it made me reboot it, which is really weird. I wasn't expecting that. Let's do Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And again, the Google Pixel 3 XL is rebooting. This is not a good sign for the Pixel 3 XL. So even though it is faster, that means that doesn't necessarily mean the RAM management is better. Let's do Stack. 3, 2, 1. And again, literally every single app is making me reboot it and restart it on the Pixel 3 XL. Literally every single one, whereas on the iPhone XS Max we're able to get into a little bit of a better gameplay and boot into the app literally straight into it without having to go through and just wait until it has to restart, which is really insane. So this clearly shows that you need more RAM on an Android device than an iOS device, which we already knew before, but this one kind of just verifies it a little bit. As you can see, literally every single app. This is pretty crazy in my opinion. Now that we're back, let's go ahead and hit on the cameras really quickly. Now, I'm going to tell you both cameras are very, very good. And if you guys want to see like a full in-depth comparison, I'll go ahead and do it. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about them because they're both very, very good sensors. Now, we have a single camera sensor on the Google Pixel 3 XL. It's a 12.2 megapixel sensor. You can literally do anything you want to with it. There's nothing wrong. Like, I don't know what you guys want from me. Like, it's a very good sensor. The iPhone XS Max has a dual camera setup where you have two 12 megapixel sensors. They both have optical image stabilization. The cameras on the Google Pixel 3 XL and on the iPhone XS Max can shoot 4K videos. It's a very good sensors in my opinion. And one thing that I've always noted, and I would probably say this every single time I compare an Android to an iPhone, is that most of the time Androids can shoot better photos. So I said the same thing with the Galaxy S10 Plus, and I'll say the same thing with the Google Pixel 3 XL. I think the photos these cameras shoot are amazing on the Android devices, but I do feel like the audio quality and the video quality are better on the iPhones, like from every single comparison I've ever done. I feel like when I'm re-listening to the audio or when I'm re-listening to the video or watching it, I feel like the video on the iPhones have a smoother kind of frame rate and they just look smoother overall than on the Android counterparts. Now, if I'm comparing like an iPhone 10 to like a Samsung Galaxy S2, then yeah, obviously the 10 will be better. But when I'm talking about the same line, like the Pixel 3 XL, the XS Max, those are comparable. The XS Max, S10 Plus, those are comparable. So in a sense like this, I want to say the same exact thing. Photo quality, better on the Pixel 3 XL. Video and audio quality, better on the iPhone XS Max. The front cameras are also a little different. Now, we have a dual camera setup on the Pixel 3 XL where we have a single camera setup on the iPhone XS Max. The Pixel 3 XL has an 8 megapixel sensor. iPhone XS Max has a 7 megapixel sensor. And I'll definitely tell you, after using them kind of for like a couple minutes, like I'll probably say they're both the same, but I do feel like the Pixel 3 XL has the advantage because of that second lens. You have a wide angle lens, which is really, really cool in my opinion. So in terms of both of them, I will probably say overall the Pixel 3 XL probably wins in terms of both front and back cameras, but the iPhone XS Max honestly isn't too far behind in my opinion. Now in terms of battery life, this is kind of interesting, okay? And I'll tell you the size of the battery. The Pixel 3 XL has a 3430 mAh battery. The iPhone XS Max has a 3179 mAh battery. They both have 2 wireless charging. They're both pretty much okay in their respective battery compartments and their sizes, but honestly I don't think either one has like amazing battery life in my opinion. But if I had to choose one, I would probably say the Google Pixel 3 XL has a better battery life, and that mostly has to do with the bigger size battery, but also the software really isn't as crazy as like a One UI or like a LG's UI. So even the XS Max has super stock, like it's super stable. I do feel like the Google Pixel 3 XL probably has the better battery life, but it's really not by much. One thing I do like about the XS Max is that the wireless charging pad is like towards the bottom of the phone, whereas on the Pixel 3 XL, it's kind of towards the top. And if you're going to put it on a wireless charging pad, you have to position it through that glass, which could be a con for you. But for me, it's honestly not even that big of a deal. Now to kind of sum up this whole entire comparison and to kind of say, which one is better, the iPhone XS Max or the Pixel 3 XL, this is what I will tell you. Right now, the Pixel 3 XL is a cheaper device, not only in the brand new department, but also in the used department as well. You can pick up a Pixel 3 XL for probably less than $400 right now, if I'm being honest, for the base model. But the iPhone XS, and there's really only one model I think for the Pixel 3 XL, but the iPhone XS Max is still selling for quite a bit, even in the used market. You can probably pick one up for like $800 for the base model. You might be lucky and get it for a little bit cheaper. So it's weirder because the Pixel 3 XL came out after the XS Max, but it's depreciated more percentage-wise than the XS Max, which is weird, but that's something that all Androids kind of go through. So what I will tell you is both of these honestly are like neck and neck. Like there's so many pros of the Pixel 3 XL and so many pros of the XS Max. And if I had to choose one, I mean, I'm kind of already in the Apple ecosystem, so I'd probably choose the iPhone XS Max. But I don't think it's like the best in every category. Like I do feel like the Pixel 3 XL is faster. I feel like it has a better screen. I feel like it takes better photos and things like that. But with the XS Max, I feel like it is more premium. You have more storage variants with it. You have that Apple ecosystem like I mentioned. And if you're talking about resale value, it will end up holding its resale value a lot more than the Google Pixel 3 XL. So that's kind of how I would put it. Now, if you want to pick up a XS Max or Google Pixel 3 XL, I'll leave the cheapest ones linked down in the description below so you guys can get it from there and help support the channel at the same time. But that is pretty much it, man. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section as well. Hit that like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.